well, everybody's heard about the bird. Bird's a winner, well, a bird.
Grown men watch this shit?
A podcast about indie wrestling.
Bird is a winner, well, a bird, bird, bird. Well, a bird is a winner, well, a bird, bird, bird. The bird's a winner, well, a bird, bird, bird. Well, a bird is a winner, well, a bird, bird. The bird's a winner, well, a bird.
All right, ladies, gentlemen, cats, dogs, parakeets, everybody, welcome to the grand show that is...
Grown men watch this shit.
Yep.
Budgie regards.
Budgie.
Budgie.
What are the main domestic birds that you folks have in America, my friend?
I probably know a bit more than the average lad because I did work at quite a few pet stores. Here, let me crack open my liquid death water. It's delicious. So, we got macaws, we got conures, we got
Macaws
parakeets,
are pretty upscale, though, right? Like, you have to be a pretty serious bird owner to get a macaw.
There's a whole variety of birds out there, sir.
Yeah, I thought they're like the really expensive smart ones that'll live to 25 or something.
Yeah, there's macaws and there's Amazons. I actually grew up not only working at a pet store, but had 3 birds in my home personally. We had an orange wing Amazon, which was Stormy. That was my stepmom Karen's bird. And they also had Billy, and he was an African gray, which are the super smart ones.
Dang.
And then, and then finally we had Fred, who was a double yellow nape, and he was actually super fucking smart. That guy call and response like tricks or like phrases and words like if you said, hey, we're gonna do a chicken, he's doing a chicken. He could separate a rooster from a chicken. So yeah, the guy was hella smart. Birds,
amazing.
Man, birds.
Oh yeah, I've long wanted to get into
birds.
the word. I see what you did there. I've always wanted to get a bird, but just I've been a dog guy, and I'm just scared if I get a bird, the dogs are gonna like try to eat it at some point.
That probably is a likely scenario, but birds can get pretty mean and territorial, so the dog might be saying, oh, all right, never mind. Fuck this guy. That's his area.
Yeah, I don't want to fuck with that.
Because my stepmom and my dad had a whole shitload of cats, and none of the cats fucked with the birds. They just stood clear.
Right, because you would think from growing up on cartoons, those cats are going to eat the...
We're not sponsored, I'm just joking around.
I don't know what this is. What is Liquid Death a type of water? What is this, a brand?
Yeah, it's mountain water. It is indeed. So it's this. We can get into some silliness since we have time. I saw this ad for Liquid Death mountain water, murder your thirst, and it's literally canned water instead of bottled water. It's canned, and it's got this super aggressive metal theme. And you actually, to get a discount on the said water, could sign your soul away to the company, and they give you there's a contract you could sign to give you literally basically half off. You get a case free, and I've done it twice now. Signed my soul twice. I don't know if one outdoes the other, but it doesn't matter how many email addresses you have. I guess you could have that many. So
let's keep that gimmick going.
Listen to this shit. So on the side of the can, it says this. The proprietary thirst murdering process begins with Liquid Death forming a rope of veins that will wrap around the thirst's head and strangle it. Once Liquid Death reaches the thirst's brain, all thirst memories will be replaced with repeating loops of its own head imploding, which is exactly what happens next by causing your thirst head to implode and its brains and squirt out of its ears. Once your thirst has been murdered, the soul of your thirst will begin to escape and float towards the ceiling. At this point, drink a second sip of Liquid Death to rip its soul back down and force it to begin gluing its own body parts back together so that it can crawl back inside and eventually grow a fully formed thirst once again. Heavy, bro. My thirst doesn't stand a fucking chance, dude.
Wow, that is like the best water branding I've ever heard in my life. I am all about this.
Check it out. Yeah, check it out.
Now
we got to get a Liquid Death sponsorship for real because I totally put it over big.
Holy shit! Yeah, I wouldn't normally pay for water, but if that much thought has been put into this amazing branding, and I'm assuming they have just some completely badass artwork on that can as well. Am I right in that?
And that's very true. Very true. The main reason is essentially bottled water. Bottled, doesn't recycle as well, and aluminum is very recyclable, much
Yeah,
more.
it's
So,
true.
hey, man, get rid of those fucking bottles and go with some canned water. I know it sounds ridiculous,
Fucking
but
bang.
it's more recyclable. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Do you guys have not the best quality water there, or just, of course, you're going to buy that canned water?
The water is fine around here, and if you want to get a filtration system, it's going to make it better, like a Brita filter.
Yeah.
But I saw this liquid death, and I go, that is fucking awesome. And then when they told me that I could sign my soul away to get free water, who's not going to do? I wasn't doing anything with my soul, Chris. It's just sitting there.
Did you not see that episode of The Simpsons where
I know I'm playing around. Yeah, exactly.
Homer really that ends well? That doesn't end well, sir. What have you done?
But I did it twice. I think one cancels the other out, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit, that's fun. That's fun. So you've been to some wrestling last night?
Chris, did I lose you?
No, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. It cut out for a second.
Yeah.
So we're here to talk about some professional wrestling. How are things with you, man? What's up in your world first before we get into the world of wrestling?
Oh, I am. I just got back from a delightful walking of the dogs, or walking with one dog carrying the other dog in a bag with her broken
Jelly
paw
still on the limb,
that we spoke
or on
about
the mend?
last time. Yeah, she is. She had to get a second surgery because the pin that was holding the bones together was protruding a little bit out from like a hole in the skin that wasn't healing over properly. So they had to go in and snip that fucker off. But thankfully
that down.
Yeah, that was included in the cost of the original surgery, so that's all right, But yeah, she's doing all right. She's probably a bit more active than she should be. Every time she just keeps jumping off of things, and that's the one thing we're supposed to make sure she doesn't do. And you can see she's like getting ready to jump, and you're like, "No, Jelly, don't jump!" And sometimes you'll be able to catch her and prevent her, and then put her down. But then at other times, she just like has this independent spirit, which is like,
yeah,
fuck
I got
you.
this. Bro.
Yeah,
do it. I've been jumping for years, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we got a check up tomorrow, so I'm hoping things have been going well. But she seems in good spirits. But yeah, she's kind of assigned herself to being carried around in the bag while I walk Ziggy, because you don't want her to be locked up at home. I'd feel guilty, leaving her at home while we walk the other dog. So she comes with us. She gets to smell things when we get to the cafe, and yeah, so it's not the worst situation in the world.
Sure.
Get a lot of people with just like all of the chortling, like and they see Jelly in her little bag, and then they see her little paw. She's got like a glitter wrap around the paw as well, so it looks extra cute. But yeah. Yeah, it's all right. Other than that, I've just been trying to keep my head above water with this G1, man. This is the time of year where we have to consume all the wrestling. And then in addition to the G1, we're trying to watch extra wrestling that we're going to talk about on this show. Fuck.
I'll let you handle all the G1. I got too much going on to try to digest all of that as well. It's so immense. It's like
why can't
we talked about last time.
Why can't we just talk about the G1? I can watch that and then we can talk about it. But no, that is not our show, sir. That is keeping it strong style. Not going to steal their shtick. But yeah, G1's been great.
I actually had an awesome show fucking last night, dude.
Yes.
The Defy this weekend is running a 2-night show, the 8XGP tournament. So last night we had an awesome show. One of the big highlights was Los Parks, LA Park, and his son, El Hijo de Park. I imagine.
There's another one now as well? Another son?
Trace Parks?
Yeah, there's Trace.
Oh, shoot. But they took on War Beast, Joseph, and Jacob Fatu. So that shit was amazing.
Like
we had fucking fireballs, dude, broken tables, some blood. Joseph was bleeding all over the place. Yeah, man. Also, there was
it's just nothing like a full-on LA Park brawl. Like that's the modern day equivalent of like a Bruiser Brody match, I think.
Dude, it was awesome. All over the place. Some guy turns to me and goes, "Hey man, is that the real La Parka?" And I go, "Yeah, man." He's like, "He's gonna do the dance?" I'm like, "Pretty sure." And then he does the dance. Like the guy.
Did he stand on the chair?
He didn't get him on a chair. He just did it in the ring. But
okay.
he just did the stupid little dance, and me and the guy both turned to look at each other, and he popped big. It was great.
Did he play the chair as a guitar?
Yeah, okay. They came out both of them were playing rock and roll chair guitars.
Amazing.
It's pretty dope. But there was a spot during the match I want to talk to you about.
Oh.
So La Parka and our LA Park, I apologize. LA Park fucking took his belt off early in the match, or it fell off. You never know with the lucha gimmick. They used it later to whip both opponents on the back, but then they also took the referee, a local referee, which he gets a lot of heat, I guess. People don't like him. He gets really booed really strong
Heel
when
ref?
he comes out every time.
Heel ref?
He's not intentionally, no, by any means.
Just one of those asshole
Everyone
refs like, what's his name from PWG that everyone hates.
No, everyone just hates him for no reason. Maybe he fucked up a finish one time or something and everyone's holding against him. I don't know exactly what
I mean,
occurred,
that's
but
what happened with the dude in PWG, right? Like, he
I'm
wasn't
not
that
even
much
sure
of an
that's exactly
over-the-top
what happened,
heel.
bro. Like, I'm just guessing, but everyone hates him and boos the...
Yeah. You still there, my friend?
Losing you. Yeah, cut off for a second. But, so, he... Also, they took the belt and they whipped both opponents across the back. And then they grabbed the referee and they poured water down his back. And the LA Park did the same thing to him. And apparently, according to Twitter, this wasn't necessarily a planned spot. And some of the fucking local wrestlers are heated about it.
Oh, fuck off. LA Park does what he wants. Like, that is LA Park's thing. He is a wild man. He's going to do anything. You have to be prepared for just whatever the fuck's going to happen, and that is just the epitome of his Wild West persona in Mexico. There is no way he is asking the ref, "Excuse me, man, is it okay if I'm going to take the belt off? Okay if I give you a couple of whips?" No, fuck that. LA Park is a fucking wild man. Like I was saying, Bruiser Brody, you think Brody's going to be asking for whether it's all right beforehand? I don't think so.
So your opinion is the expectation if you're in a match with LA Park and you're the referee, you
better be ready for some shit. Yeah.
Okay. You don't. All right. Everyone was arguing mostly it was like a consent thing. Like basically in wrestling, even referees are giving up their body and hopefully coming out safe with, consented situations occurring. So you don't think that necessarily applies when we're dealing with someone
if you're whipping someone with a belt, come on, what, you're going to get some welts? Like, it'd be different if you gave him like a dangerous pile driver that the ref doesn't know how to take the bump of, and there was actually like a legitimate danger there. If that was the case, like, I'd probably be batting for the other guy, but in this case, it's like, hey, geez, come on, guys. Wrestling's wrestling. Gonna get a little bit crazy sometimes.
I wish they would have smartened the poor kid up. When they started pouring water down his back, I'm like, oh shit, this is no good. This is no good.
That being said, in my wrestling days, Josh and I had been known to rough up refs sometimes when they didn't do a great job. So I may be a little bit impartial here.
Oh, okay. Now that makes a lot more sense.
I'm just an asshole.
Yeah, just kidding. The whole show was fucking great. Tama Tonga and Ethan HD had a fucking awesome match. Artemis Spencer and Douglas James probably had, outside of the fucking Los Parks match, probably the match of the night. Really hard hitting shit.
Nice.
But there was an awesome
Spencer's going to be all good to go for Bowler?
Oh yeah, it should be good.
All ready to kill it?
Oh, for sure.
Nice.
But I wanted to talk to you about an awesome moment. This fucking guy, when Tama Tonga was standing around and got pretty quiet, this guy goes, "Roman Reigns," after a Tama Tonga chant stopped. And everyone was like, "Oh." Tama Tonga climbed out on the ring apron and stared, and everyone in the crowd immediately pointed dude out. They sold him out immediately. This is the guy who said it. And Tama Tonga would talk shit at him for a while.
Amazing.
Later in the match, not that much later, pretty quick actually, he whipped Ethan HD outside toward that side of the crowd and started working his way, like beating up Ethan toward that guy.
That's awesome.
And then eventually got in the guy's face again, and the guy was like literally looked scared. He was like cowering away, and then Thomas smacked his beer out of his hand. It was fucking great.
That's so good. That's like reminds me. That's like total Super Dragon type shit right there.
Yeah.
Also, I remember there was a story on one of the Courtney listens to a bunch of the like comedy podcasts, like Crab Feast. You heard of Crab Feast?
No.
Josh Adam Myers, I think is his show. But yeah, it's really good. But a lot of the time they have wrestling stories. So Courtney will just like, hey, you got to listen to this story. It's wrestling. I'm like, all right, of course. You know, wrestling. I have to hear it.
Sure, why not?
And one of the comedians, I think it might have been, I'm not sure, it doesn't matter. But yeah, he was talking about this this story that he had from like, because he was like on the peripherals of wrestling, and his friends were like, oh, let's go to this wrestling show. Of all shows, it was like a late 90s ECW show in like New York. And he's like just a comedian, and he's like, thinks, you know, wrestling's like fucking Big John Studd and stuff. So safe to say this opened his eyes a little bit. But at one point, and you know, Bubba was like such a fucking big time heel there. And like, you know, his fucking legendary stories of like creating riots.
I
and
lost
stuff
you for a
in the
moment,
crowd.
Chris.
I can hear you. Right? You can hear
Okay,
me?
you cut out when you said, I can hear you now, but you said Bubba was a big time heel and then nothing.
Yeah, so Bubba, the big time heel, you know, legendary for his starting riots and stuff like that. And so this guy's a comedian, bit of a funny guy. So he's like, there's this bit where people like the wrestlers are pulling up. This might have been like a second show because he knew a little bit. He knew enough about the Bubba's like this dickhead heel that you're meant to boo. And so they roll up and they get out of the car. And then Bubba gets out of the car, and then he just like cat calls and goes, "Hey Bubba, you fat fuck!" And then everyone's like, "Ooh!" And then he like really, you know, next level. And they like did exactly the same thing that you were saying. Bubba's like, "Where is he?" And then everyone sells him out immediately. Just like points to him. And Bubba just makes a fucking beeline to him and just like intimidates the shit out of him. And he was like, yeah, I was pretty much pissing my pants. I was like, yes sir, sorry sir.
Don't
yes,
be
sir.
a fan, he says.
But yeah, the best part was like then he leaves. So he's like just completely demeaned him, and everyone's like laughing at him because he just got made to look like such a bitch. And then Bubba walks away, and then the guy's like, oh well. And then he's like, anyone else got a problem? And then it got like the biggest laugh.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to fuck with that guy.
No. But yeah, it was quite funny, the whole thing, the whole crowd just selling a dude out. It's always a great moment.
My dog is barking at the cat. Give me a second. Rox, knock that shit off. Leave the cat alone. I'm trying to nap.
Got to run in from the dogs on your end this time.
Yeah. All right, comes back. Coming back over. All right, let's continue. Sorry about that.
No, you're right. So yeah, that was great. And you've got another night of this this tournament, Defy, tonight coming up after this show.
Yeah. Second round. One of the big, I would say, not necessarily an upset, but yes, in a sense, was last night. Shaft, local favorite, and everyone assumed the potential winner of this tournament. He was originally slated to face Brian Cage, but Brian unfortunately got injured and can't make the event, so they slotted in Christopher Daniels, which, I mean, fucking A.
Nice.
Brian Cage for Christopher Daniels, not bad.
Yeah.
So the matchup ends with Christopher Daniels winning and beating Shaft, and there was an audible like gasp. Like people all assumed that Christopher Daniels, was going to put the young gun over, but no, they fucking Christopher Daniels going on to the second round of the tournament, which I think is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
There's a lot of legitimacy to the actual tournament itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like you want to get your money's worth as well. And plus, I'm assuming Brian Cage probably would have been going over to the next round as well. So you don't want to fuck your tournament just based on one guy not being there.
Oh, sure. I mean, I imagine they wouldn't change, the way they plan on booking the storyline overall, but everyone was literally shocked because most people figured that Shaft was going to be taking the entire tournament home because also on the line is the Defy title. Artemis Spencer put that up for grabs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's
exciting, fun.
That's sucky news about Brian Cage because he's been dealing with quite a few injuries lately, hasn't he?
Yeah, evidently it's just a nagging. It won't fucking. He can't fucking get better, I guess.
Yeah, man, poor guy. I hope he turns the corner on that stuff because he's really blowing
Hmm.
up in Impact at the moment.
Yeah, man, I can't get that show.
You can't.
No, they don't have the network.
What the Impact Network thing?
No, I mean I don't get it on my cable. If it's not coming directly into my cable, chances are I can't. I'm not tuning into your wrestling show immediately.
Oh, watch
I
it
might
on the
find out
app.
about stuff.
Get the free sub to the app, and then you can just watch them all for free on there. I did that recently, and they're like, it's actually really good quality and works a lot better than their old one used
Apps? What are you talking about, you young whippersnapper?
to. Technology today.
I'm not sure what you mean, Jenny.
They were rumored to be like looking to maybe get on Access, like Mark Cuban's deal, and then
Oh, really?
yeah, there was talk about it, but then sort of nothing. So I don't know whether there was like negotiations and then something happened, or like New Japan put their foot down and were like, "Hey, we don't want these guys on the same network as us." I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. New Japan, maybe.
Put the
We don't want to be
kibosh.
related. There's only one wrestling product on this channel. We don't want people to accidentally think it's the same thing.
Weird, weird. I speaking of New Japan, I
Right.
there was a great interview that Harry Smith did on talking about his exodus from New Japan. Did you hear much about this at all?
I heard that he felt that maybe they were, stifling his progression. That's what I heard. Was that what the gist of the interview was, or what's going on there?
Pretty much, and like just sort of the day-to-day of it and the implications of like when he's committed to work there, and it's like he's not working other places, and they're actively saying that he can't work for places like Impact, and then yet they're only giving him X amount of tours per year and not doing shit with him. And he's like, "Hey, I'd like to do this," and then just all this stuff. And he was like saying about how Gato would like you used to message Lance on Facebook to work out their stuff, except Lance was injured, so then he sent him a message on Facebook and he just completely no-sold him. And then he like hits him up about it, and then he's like, "Hey, so Lance normally talks to you on here, and you didn't read or see my message." And then Gato's like, he totally fades him off. He's like, Facebook, I don't know what Facebook is. I don't know Facebook Messenger. And he's like, no, but Lance totally messaged. Look, here's a picture of you messaging Lance. And he's like, I don't know.
I got the screenshots, dude.
Basically, I don't speak no English. Like
That's
that
fucking
kind of
hilarious.
shit. And he's just he's so carny. Like he would just be working you all the time, and he said he got frustrated with that. But overall, yeah, just the thing of them not letting him actually wrestle. Like they just want him to be the big gaijin monster tag team type of thing, but anytime he'd actually want to wrestle or have the opportunity to show to me like his strongest side, like to me what sets him apart from everyone else is his actual wrestling and his catch wrestling and awesome submission wrestling and grappling and that kind of stuff. But they didn't let him do shit like that in New Japan, because I guess that's not really what New Japan is about anymore, at least from a gaijin perspective. And yeah, I guess the frustration with that kind of like came to a head. But yeah, so he left, and so he's doing more stuff with MLW. Apparently, he had an awesome match with Thatcher on their last taping that happened in New York. So I'm pumped to check that out. But then, did you hear about the big news with MLW and Noah?
Yeah, that's actually pretty dope. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Does that put MLW up a notch over Impact, do you think?
Yeah, because I mean Noah used to be with Impact. That was their American partner, but then they haven't done shit together in quite a while. Ever since it sounded like Impact stole away Taiji Ishimori, and the next thing you know, Ishimori's in New Japan. So I don't know what's going on there. But I'm pretty pumped about some of the potential guys that we could see from MLW in a Noah ring. You know, between dudes like Harry Smith, or even like Teddy Hart. Like the sky is the limit. I'm pretty excited for some of these dudes. Low key returning to Noah for the first time in like over a decade. Like, what, that was like mid 2000s that he was there last time. That'd be amazing. And then obviously
Dude,
more of the Noah talent in MLW would be great too.
Yeah, and honestly, Court put out that tweet about how his product isn't for everybody; it's for the underground, which was pretty funny. But I do like this progression because honestly, I do like the product they present. It's like family friendly and clean, but still pretty aggressive. So I think that's something that's kind of missing in the market. Like WWE does family friendly, but kind of cliche and boring.
Yeah, yeah, and just like the presentation, there's like so much that's just like a faithful just like representation of pro wrestling and just the grittiness of pro wrestling. And even like from the believability in the commentary, like I was such a fan of when I'd first tune in and Tony Schiavone, like he's still so good, man. And then at the moment, like Jim Cornette is just fucking killing it on commentary, and Rich Burkini as well. It's just fantastic. So I yeah, I'm pumped to see what happens going forward with it. It's they're doing some really big business. You see those sellouts they had at Cicero Stadium in Chicago. Like every show they've run there so far.
That's fucking exciting, man. More wrestling doing well everywhere. Touring brands, something based out of Orlando or Florida, making itself up there and actually doing well. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for real. I'm excited about what is gonna come in the near future. Very excited about some Noah guys getting in that MLW ring and mixing it up with that roster that we talked about too.
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of wrestling fans in the United States like myself who are more familiar with the talent out of New Japan. Probably a lot to do with their relationship with the Ring of Honor or just more interest in the product, I guess. But yeah, it'd be exciting for, more exciting wrestlers to make to the States.
Hell yeah.
I'm always excited to learn about new people I haven't heard about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And in my humble opinion, I feel like Noah has an even better in-ring product than New Japan. So I'm excited for more American eyeballs to get on it. I reckon they've just got a hell of an underrated product.
Yeah, you said that multiple times. It's not the first time I've heard you mention that.
Yep. I'll always be Noah till the day I die. Proud.
The first thing I thought of MLW working with Noah, I thought of Noah's Arcade from Wayne's World.
Ooh.
Are you familiar with that movie?
I am. Love me some Wayne's World.
Familiar with Noah's Arcade?
Not necessarily on that specific one. It's been a while since I've watched Wayne's World, to be honest.
It was the sponsor of the television program.
Ah. I always thought you were talking about the movie, but I forgot about the days of Wayne's World as a TV show.
No, I was.
Oh, you were?
I meant the movie. Yeah, in the movie.
Oh, the TV show in the yeah. All right, we're getting layers here, folks.
Yeah.
But it was like a TV show back in the day, wasn't it? Or am I just confused?
It was on It was on SNL.
Yeah. Right. And yep. Okay. Next up, let's move on here. Keep it going,
please.
So, PWG Battle of Los Angeles continues to shape up rather, but they are shaking things up with more new and exciting names. What do you think of the last couple announcements since our last show that we spoke about it?
I thought it was funny how we were speaking of Caveman Ugg last time, and then the other Caveman got added to the lineup, so that's pretty cool. I hope there's either a face-off or a tag match in their future. Shut up, dog!
Another run-in. This is great. I like it. Yeah, man,
Dogs
I'm
hate
pumped.
podcasts.
Yeah. They just want to be involved, I think. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I think you could potentially do both, I reckon first round you have Ugg against Cavanario, and then Cavanario's got to go over in that situation. I love Ugg, but Cavanario was the real deal. And then on the final night where you have the big multi-man tag, we have the cavemen on the same side. That's how I'm envisioning it.
That'd be fun. That'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, they announced also Ray's coming back in. Jake Atlas, Tony Deppen, somebody we wanted involved. Joey Janela back again. Lucky Kid, Brody, and then unfortunately, I have yet to hear Daniel Makabe's name announced, which I'm very sad.
Oh, I think if we've got Artemis Spencer, we can't have Daniel Makabe as well. You've got to.
I'm being selfish, okay?
This is not a Defy tournament, sir. We can only have so much Seattle representation.
Honestly, Daniel hasn't been at Defy, I think, yet, or not for a while. Maybe one of the first sample shows, but yeah, not. It's weird who they still don't want to promote. Maybe not a fan. I don't know.
Oh, interesting. The politics of the Pacific Northwest wrestling region.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty stoked for a lot of those guys. I was kind of caught a bit off guard by Ray Phoenix. It was like we kind of got a certain kind of names going, and we are like, oh, it's going to be quite fresh. And then it's like, boom, big ass name, one of the top names in independent, not even independent wrestling now with AEW and everything. You know, it's a big time star right there.
Hell yeah. Actually, I was kind of surprised about Brody too.
Yeah, with ROH.
Yeah, and then so busy, like surprised they would let him do a potentially 3-day tournament. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's cool of ROH to sound like they're still letting dudes do stuff like PWG if they really want to.
Yeah, I mean, they still have. Jeff's still working there, so.
Yeah. Well, I think because they have like the deals where they're not allowed to work anywhere else in the USA and
that's televised or
Eastern Canada, period, generally. But then I think a lot of guys have PWG specifically written into their contract, which is an exception because it's so sporadic, I guess, and gets a bit more high profile.
Yeah.
And it's not like, live pay-per-view, live internet pay-per-view or anything like that. So it's not really
Plus, as ROH, having your guys at PWG actually is a, little bit of feather in your hat.
Yeah, 100%. Get that indie street cred going.
Yup.
But with Phoenix, I'm specifically interested because this kind of gets back to the war between CMLL and AAA. So, because Phoenix is back in AAA, I never thought that would happen, but it did. And Cavernario is one of the bigger names in CMLL in Arena Mexico. And generally, anytime we've had guys in a tournament, you never get any CMLL guy working against a perceived AAA guy. So I'm wondering whether that continues, because if not, I cannot think of more of a Lucha Dream match than Ray Phoenix and Cavernario in a round 2 match kind of thing. That'd be amazing.
You think they'll have to book around that, or do you think that's a possibility, actually?
Well, I'd hope that it's a possibility, but knowing the history, I'm thinking they'll have to book around it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, boo. But, yeah.
Boo.
Well, but no, other than that, still shaping up really good. I am still a little bit on the bubble myself on whether I'm making this trip over or not. But one thing that really hammered at home a little bit more was the big announcement for Bloodsport. Did you see this, my friend?
Fucking crazy, man. Moxley and fucking Josh.
John Moxley and Josh Barnett tying it up in that ring. This kind of goes back to the last Bloodsport that we went to, because John Moxley was standing there watching the show from the balcony next to one William Regal. So I knew straight up, there's a legitimate interest here. A guy like that doesn't just come to this show just because he's gotten free tickets. It's kind of thing where, and we've seen in John Moxley's in-ring style in those last few matches, he's really got a big-time shoot-style wrestling influence going. Apparently he trained for the G1. Did you hear this? At an actual fight camp in Vegas. A mixed martial arts fight camp, yeah, in preparation for the G1. I don't know if that's a kayfabe thing, but in my mind...
Yeah, that's what I didn't know if that was legit or not.
In my mind, it's legit.
I hope he did. That'd be great.
How good?
Fucking awesome.
I mean, I could see that having a reality to it just based off of his actual in-ring style and what he's been showing up with in these G1 matches, because he's very much got a shoot style wrestling base to what he's doing. He's doing the old the awesome Regal running knee as well, which I'm a big fan of.
Fucking the old John Moxley was just punch, kick, let me grab a weapon, punch, kick, let me grab a weapon.
Yeah,
that's cool that he's actually evolved. And because when somebody like leaves to do something else, you hope they change in some way. Otherwise, it's the same thing again, presented slightly differently. It's not that interesting. So
yeah,
I haven't seen him in the G1, so it's been pretty cool.
yeah, so good, man. He's had some great matches. I think his match against Ishii that happened like in the last week, or maybe about a week ago, was one of the best matches of the whole tournament. So great. But yeah, I mean, John Moxley was like a really creative guy even before he went to WWE. Like from what I saw him in CCW and Dragon Gate USA and Evolve back in the day, he was always a guy that would do something different. And then for the longest time, he was just in this place doing this role where he didn't get to do anything outside of the box. I mean, his character, I guess, was meant to be zany and out of the box, but like it was funny. It's kind of ironic. Like his actual what he got to do was so inside of that box, and he was so didn't get to do anything. I guess like did you hear
Got
the
a red wagon? You're crazy.
Yeah, did you
You're
hear the
nuts.
interview with Jericho?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, so good. But and in one hand, you'd think you'd see a guy like that and be like, oh, this is all kind of fluff kind of thing. But then we were watching his first match in New Japan, that one he had against Juice Robinson. I was watching it with the guys, and one of my mates, Brad, a good friend Brad, he hated John Moxley for the longest time in WWE. He I think it was because of his like singlet get up. He would lovingly refer to him as deadbeat dad Dean Ambrose. Where's
Jeans
Dean?
and a wife beater.
Where's Dean? He's gone to get some smokes from the convenience store and never come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was just never a fan. He was like, oh, he's just boring and he's just so predictable and blah 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 blah. And then we're like, nah, man, I think he's just not getting to show what he wants. And then you see just such a completely different presentation, as you were saying, like changing up that ring style, changing up everything. And yeah, it's just so refreshing to see a guy like that. And I'm very excited to see him specifically in like a shoot style wrestling environment like Bloodsport. I think that'll be fantastic.
And steroids has done him good. He looks pretty good.
I don't believe that for a second, sir.
Alrighty, buddy.
It's just getting more of a chance to hit that gym. He's taking his vitamins. He doesn't have the
Eat
rigorous
those lean
road
proteins.
schedule. Yeah. Allegedly, sir, you're going to get this podcast in some trouble. Jeez.
Yeah, I've made no definitive statements.
Oh, funny. But yeah, I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled on both of these shows, because a trip over straight to New Jersey and hang out and then go to Bowler, that'll be a pretty sweet week, I'm thinking. But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Oh, also, just to go back for 1 second, we didn't actually mention it, but Defy tonight, the big match outside of the tournament, Joey Janela and Tama Tonga, dude. That's going to be nuts.
It will. I'm not going to lie. I still hate Tama Tonga. I still cannot stand to watch him, but I pop for his shtick.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, no. I just watched too much New Japan to where I just could not deal with watching Tama Tonga in New Japan. But hey, yeah, he's doing what he's doing, and good for him,
Yeah.
Yes. So our next item on the agenda, something that I think is maybe going to cause a little bit of dissension here, but just quietly, fuck Jordan Grace.
Oh, Lord, I don't give a fuck. I liked how that one guy who read your tweet thought you were siding with Jordan. You're like, no, I think he's...
I saw how
Annoyed
you
with
could
Jordan.
get that perception. All right, so for our listeners, our players at home, let's paint a bit of a
I didn't
picture.
actually see her tweets.
Right, so I screenshotted this. I'm very prepared here. So this was what, and I'll go into this a bit more about specifically what annoyed me about it. But so Jordan Grace has changed her Twitter name to her real name, I guess. Fine, I have no problem with that. Do what you want.
What we kids call who aren't in the industry, we call it the shoot name.
Oh yeah, worker name
Yeah,
versus shoot name.
Who aren't in the industry, to be specific.
Yeah. So then
The wrestling fans.
a fan asked her, "What's up with that? Are we supposed to call you by that name now? What's the deal?" And they asked her basically what the reason from. And then she gave this explanation post saying, "Transitioning into a new era where wrestlers can accept they're playing a character and don't have to live the gimmick, I'd imagine." Okay, so that's her reasoning for changing the name. Now, again, on the surface, I don't have a fucking problem at all about her wanting to change her name and, use the real name. What the fuck? Do whatever what the fuck you want. The thing that annoys me about this is like the fucking smugness of it in putting down the guys who use Twitter as like a extension of their public presentation of their character, and the overall thing of the fucking whole idea of professional wrestling being of suspending disbelief, right? So with her tweet, she's kind of like elaborated a bit more. She's had a bit of an argument with my good friend Jim Cornette about this, but the main thing about the tweet of her saying like about wrestlers accepting that they're playing a character and like it's almost like she's making fun of these guys who run Twitter like in character and like keep kayfabe on Twitter. And honestly, to me, like there's nothing fucking wrong with that. Like if you're building a brand and you're building a character and you want people to believe that character, why would you be like, oh guys, this is my fake character, right? It's like it fucks the whole thing of professional wrestling, really. And that's, I guess, where it kind of like gets under between my teeth kind of thing,
Sure.
So that was my kind of like issue with it, and the idea of just her making out that the guys that do the consistent work across the board, like that they're somehow idiots for doing
bunch of
that.
Dummies.
Yeah. And I saw your tweet saying about how fans basically like what the fuck is fans having this problem with people using their real names, and like that's
my tweet had nothing to do with that actually.
What was it? Go on.
I was speaking about like people getting mad for the styles of wrestling, like the Orange Cassidy stuff and comedy being more. Yeah.
Shit, I thought yours was in response. I thought yours was in response to this Jordan tweet.
No, I was complaining about people bitching about like over like the shit they were complaining about with Aubrey Edwards and Dancing with Sunny Kiss and like how every presentation needs to be some serious grappling affair for it to be somehow considered real wrestling. Now, I was saying there should be more. It should be more eclectic. There should be varieties. That what like a guy like Timothy Thatcher is awesome because guys like Orange Cassidy exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we've spoken at length before about how that fucking variety is like one of the best parts about independent wrestling.
I was speaking fans dictating about how wrestlers are killing the business, like Joey Ryan's dick spot. Fans are telling him how he's killing wrestling and destroying the industry by doing this comedy bullshit. Where if that's not what you want to watch, don't fucking watch it.
Yeah,
Jordan's shit. I'll speak to that.
Yeah. What do you think of this specific like thing? And this created a bit of a discussion, and Lance Storm weighed in, and then she had a bit of an argument with Lance Storm about it. What do you think?
Personally, I think if wrestlers want to do that, fine, whatever. She could have ignored that tweet from the fan instead of putting a highlight on her opinion of why she does it. Because if we're coming to Twitter, we know that this wrestler is not really like everyone knows Jordan Grace isn't Jordan Grace. She makes note repeatedly that that's not her real name, how it's her EFED name that she just carried over. And cool, we get it. That's your one person is you, one is the character you're playing. We don't need that to be thrown in our face, and to act like you're all high and mighty by doing so does come off fucking condescending as hell. And I've been a fan of Jordan Grace for a while.
Yeah.
But the more she tweets, the more she comes off as smug as fuck. And I know I do too sometimes. I think we all kind of get there inadvertently, not like we get it stuck in our ideals and how our opinions, and we'll disseminate this information, and it gets filtered through our own filter. So sometimes we come off as less than human. You know what I mean? Like where it's just this characterization of a person.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because and the Twitter, like you're saying with Twitter, it has this thing where you could have a chat where we're buddies having a chat over Skype or in person over beers or whatever.
Like for example, you thought I was talking about Jordan Grace when I was talking about comedy, wrestling, or fucking hardcore and all that.
Because it comes out right at the same time as this other thing that's newsworthy, and you just think it's an indirect response. But yeah, Twitter fucking sucks for that, for people getting the wrong idea with shit. But yeah, I'm the same. I was a big fan of Jordan Grace to start with in her presentation and that, and then the more I hear her talk, the less I'm a fan, honestly. But I mean, the same thing.
And I thought she was one of those chicks who was attractive but didn't realize she was cute, so she didn't go over the top. But now she's posting thirst trap pictures all the time, and selling 8x10s of her showing her booty, which I don't mind some booty shots. Don't get me wrong, but apparently I thought she was a different person, and that's on me, not on her at all by any means.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm kind of the same. You mentioned Joey Ryan. And Joey Ryan's a guy where I loved his shtick for a long time, and I enjoyed it, and I go to shows and I laugh at his silly stuff, and it's good. But then I see his holier than thou fucking bullshit on Twitter, and I can't stand the guy. Hey, I love his character and what he presents in the ring, but his entire presence on Twitter, I just don't have any time for.
I can appreciate where he's coming from because he does get attacked probably constantly, and people tagging his tweets with Jim Cornette, little Twitter snitches. I can understand why he is the way he is, but also I'm a big fan of Joey Ryan. I've enjoyed his shtick from PWG before he was doing dick spots, before all that happened.
Yeah, and I loved him just sleazy honestly, Joey Ryan from back in the day.
Yeah, I honestly no fault of Joey's. I don't need to necessarily see him wrestle ever again. Every match is always the same. So unless there's a really some sort of skewed presentation or a twist on it, I don't need to see. It's fun. I don't necessarily pay to go see Joey Ryan. I know a lot of people do, and I like Joey. It's just once you've seen the same joke over and over, you can only enjoy it so much,
Yeah, and then that's where it connects with the Twitter stuff of him acting like he's talking like he's one of the greatest stars in the world, and he's making so much money because of this gimmick, and people cannot wait to part with their dollars because of these dick spots, when it's kind of a one-hit wonder kind of joke in a sense, and he's making out that anyone that has a different vision or a more traditional vision of what professional wrestling can be for him is just some old-timer, out-of-touch type of thing. I guess that's where it kind of grinds my gears a little bit,
Oh, for sure. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it does come off as this, just because you don't think the way it works, it does work. And that is the end of the argument. I can see why that can be frustrating to people, because it's not going to work for everybody. Joey Ryan is a special situation. There's no one else is going to get over there and get over the clit spotter, my nips are now what I get over. That's not going to be repeated, I don't think.
Yeah, it's I'd pop for it when Joey Ryan did it, but then this probably got heat with some people. I just did not find the Priscilla Kelly stuff funny or anything but just attention fucking grabbing,
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Yeah, I thought we were going to have more of an argument than we did. We're just having a nice little time.
I just don't think fans should dictate the way wrestlers perform in the ring. Yeah. I could see why they could be annoyed with them throwing or breaking kayfabe and almost throwing it in people's faces on Twitter. But if you don't like it, don't follow that fucking person, and don't prompt them to defend their opinion, which ends up annoying you. I don't know.
I mean, it's the same thing.
Don't poke the bear.
the same thing with Jim Cornette to an extent, because his Twitter presence is basically a work at this point. Like he knows what people want to see, and it's the antagonistic, like almost like shock jock kind of stuff, and like that earns him a fuckload of money. Like I'd wager he probably makes a lot more money from his merch and stuff than like a Joey Ryan does. But it's almost the same, where people want to prod the bear to just, let's see if we can get Jim worked up by this, by sending him like a screen grab of this thing or like a gif of this thing, you know?
Yeah, I got blocked because of that bullshit. Jim Cornette blocked me because of some idiot that tagged him on my tweet.
And yet he doesn't.
He said he doesn't Jim block. Rants.
Yeah, they're fun. It's like just.
I'm mad. Jim Cornette, unblock me. I don't agree with what you say, but I want to see you be mad.
Well, I'll make sure to send you screen grabs of Jim Cornette's reactions then. How about that?
That sounds good. Everyone just feed me Jim Cornette.
No, I won't be doing that.
Thank God. Thank God.
So next in the news, there's some AEW things that have been happening, right?
Oh, go on, kind sir.
So a lot has happened since we last spoke about this. We had the Daytona Beach Fight for the Fallen show, which I had a lounge room sellout for that show, my friend. I was like, this
very nice.
This AEW really has something, because I had two like lapsed fans come over and join the rest of the guys, and we had a great time. And that's the thing where I think this could be a big deal when it hits TNT, because as long as they don't do too much of the inside baseball weird comedy stuff that's like for your more niche, being the elite fans, and they focus a bit more on the big picture, I think the sky could be the limit here.
I have a feeling that a lot of the backstage segments are going to be comedy bits interwoven throughout the show, which unfortunately I think in the long run might be a miss, because I love comedy and I love those guys, but I watch Being the Lead sometimes, and the jokes just I don't know, maybe I'm just too old, but the jokes I don't get it.
I agree. I mean, I enjoyed it for a time, and there's some of the stuff where it's like a real inside reference to this thing that they planted like 6 months prior and all that kind of stuff, so it's kind of clever. But at the same time, that's not appropriate for what you want to air on TNT. So for those playing at home, we had the big announcement this past week of the show's going to be 8 p.m. on Wednesday nights, fucking prime time on TNT. We don't know what the name of the show is going to be yet, but they gave the fucking best sizzle reel you could possibly imagine. Did you just get like tingly from watching that thing?
Wednesday Night Dynamite?
I hope so. I really like that name as much as a lot of other people don't.
I think it's fucking cool, man. I love some rhyming.
The pun on, not a pun, but like the sort of reference to Nitro as well on TNT is pretty cool.
Well, TNT is Dynamite, so fucking A.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But did you watch the hype package?
I didn't.
Oh.
I was trying to pretend like I did by ignoring your actual question.
That's all right. We're all about honesty on this show, folks. No, I
How was it? Was it awesome?
It was so good. But yeah, I just so everyone knows at home, I sent this motherfucker so many matches to watch this past week to where I wouldn't blame him for not watching a highlight video.
I watched a lot of wrestling.
You did watch a lot of wrestling.
Speaking of Jim Cornette, actually, real quick, I guess he's over. He finds Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus to be an amazing combination, which is so fucking ridiculous. He hates so much, but he loves Jungle Boy and fucking Luchasaurus.
I love Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. The casual fans that came over my house, Faz and John, different John, they came over. And Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus was one of their most favorite things on the entire show. And they were like, these guys are going to be the next fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin kind of thing.
I love them too. It's a fucking awesome group. But the fact that Jim Cornette is like, fuck yeah, I love this shit. Guy's riding a dinosaur. He likes realistic wrestling, but a guy riding a dinosaur, he's like, fuck yeah.
Oh yeah. When you see money, you can't turn
I
turn
guess
a nose
right.
up at it too far, you know.
A guy riding a dinosaur translates to anybody.
Exactly. But so the AEW thing as well. In addition to this big show coming up, we didn't really talk anything about Fight for the Fallen. Now I don't want to do like a big show review or anything like that, or match by match type of shit. But generally, what were your takeaways from this show? Because I think we're starting to see a bit of what that TNT presentation is maybe going to look like from these shows.
I don't want to be pegged as an AEW apologist, but man, I fucking love every show they've done so far. Even the bits that suck, like I can let them pass. Like the librarian stuff, I can take it or leave it. It's annoying as hell, but whatever. But the rest of it, it's such a good mix of all kinds of things.
Yep.
And all within the same show, and nothing feels out of place per se. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm really digging it. I think they have a strong chance of not overtaking the WWE, but being a very strong, option or alternative for people to watch.
I think they could overtake WWE. At this point, I watched that sizzle reel, and again, like seeing how these lapsed fans are latching onto this. I look at that wordplay, guys.
I like it.
Like I could see them like just starting out and doing like a 2 rating or better. And as far as I can see, they're just gonna go up while Raw is gonna go down. So I don't know. I think the one thing that I could see as being problematic, it's sort of what you just said about the shows. There's so much variety and so much different stuff, to where I can see there's a lot of cooks in that kitchen, and you have an approach to wrestling like a Tony Khan, who, have you watched many of his press conferences that he has in the post shows?
No, sir.
Oh, fantastic! He just comes across so well, so friendly. He's like a really nice, little bit nerdy but really fun version of Dana White in like the post show press conferences.
That's pretty cool.
I really dig him. And his big thing, I guess, is presenting it like a sport. Like that's his kind of whole thing. You know, wins and losses matter. The analytics of all of the things that most wrestling commentators don't even talk about, like that stuff being important. And I guess like old school storytelling, wanting to get it a bit more like your Crockett or Mid-South than necessarily late 90s WWF, which I think is really cool. But so you have that approach, and then you have like the other kind of like more comedy based stuff, and then the stuff with the Bucks, and obviously Kenny Omega's vision being a little bit different to that as well. I'm wondering at what point do we get a bit of a clash with what they want that to be, and whether that's going to be problematic. Like, how do you, at any of these wrestling companies that have all of these cooks in the writing room, it never seems to end well.
Are you feeling there may be too much variety, even also waters down what the actual voice of the show is?
I think so. Like, that's why most successful wrestling shows, they've got, people giving their input, but at the end of the day, you got one booker. And I think that's what's been wrong with WWE for so long. Yes, you need to get Booker T.
Every company needs one Booker T to voice their opinion.
Exactly.
And there's 5 of them. 5, 2.
5 times.
I knew that joke was terrible. I bailed out immediately. It's going nowhere.
No commitment there. We're not going all the way down. All right. But WCW at its best. You had all the different input, but at the end of the day, it was Kevin Sullivan writing this shit and the consistency and making it good. In the meanwhile, one thing I worry about with AEW is they don't really have a booker. Who's doing that? Who's going to be writing that TV? Who's going to be doing these long-term storylines and stuff? It sounds like there's a committee approach.
Certain that there's probably 4 individuals that are writing that show. Mm-hmm. Tony, Cody, Nick, and that other one. Matt? I think it's Matt. No, sure. Yeah, Matt Jackson.
So you think that's gonna be all right going forward? You don't see too much issue?
I don't think it's gonna be. I think that'll work for the time being. If it catches on, I mean, it's only gonna instill them saying that, well, we understand what we're doing. Maybe bring in a little bit of extra of ideas, but I don't think they're gonna change dramatically within the first couple months or even the first year. It's probably going to steer the ship one direction. If it doesn't work, yeah.
Yeah, I think they need consistency with what they're doing, and they need to be all hands on deck and with that approach. So I have high hopes. Again, I've enjoyed all their shows very much as well. They've had a lot of hits. They've had some misses. I've thought pretty much all around their pre-shows have been trash, which is probably not what you want to have for like your free show before the paid
that's a terrible idea. They should put a high level match on those shows, like putting out some fucking video game designer on the show. Fucking dumb.
We've talked before about Sunny Kiss being fun, but I was not a fan of his match. And I love Peter Avalon as well, but I just thought that was like the worst thing you could possibly do on the pre-show, personally. What did you think of that one?
Yeah. Terrible. Peter's fucking great. What are they doing? Like, Peter Avalon is awesome. From PP Ray days where he's the skinny, sexy man to this new Peter Avalon, which is cocky and like coiffed and dressed fucking to the nines. The guy is, and Nor Furnham, even when he was skinny ass Nor Furnham, the guy's great.
I love pretty Peter Avalon from back in the day in PWG.
Hell yeah!
I remember he had fucking awesome matches.
Fucking great.
Him against Candice LeRae.
Or fucking PP Ray versus Rockness.
Yeah. Oh, great stuff. Oh, now you're just bringing out my PWG OG nostalgia right there. That's some good times.
Oh yeah.
Reseda. I miss Reseda. That's the one thing I watched the more recent PWG shows, and I'm like, this is a really nice venue, but it's not Reseda.
Fact.
Yeah, so let's hope things keep going well for AEW, and do you think they're going to have anything else between now and we've got the big show of All Out? But you think we're getting anything else before the TV show starts in where is it? It's like Washington DC, isn't it?
I foresee, I could be totally wrong, but them doing one more surprise, like almost like coming out party type show, like something like get everyone revved up, like a pep rally.
You know where that should take place?
Where?
We got quite the auspicious Gap Day in the bowler lineup. Do you think that maybe means something? So we got the Thursday, starting on Thursday now, and then...
No, I think the Globe just had something booked.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, you think
I'm
they're
looking
gonna,
too much into
people
this?
People are gonna make plans for that day. They're not gonna all of a sudden special surprise show. Everybody be there.
Well, I was thinking that's the reason why we didn't get 3 nights in a row of bowler, because of other commitments, perhaps, of the roster. And some of the main guys.
Don't you think they would let people? Don't you think they let people know who are coming for PWG to make arrangements instead of booking something else for that night? Like, I would be so pissed off if I bought 3 tickets for Bola and like, well, I got an extra day, I could do something with it. And then find out there's something awesome scheduled locally. That'd be fucking annoying.
I guess they would say what, like, Bola is going to get like 600 people, whereas they would be running a show where they'd want a minimum of like 5,000 people, so it's probably not that big a deal. I mean, if they were going to do something, they'd have to announce it soon. I think that it'd be coming up close, because Bola isn't that far away, my friend.
No, sir. I'm buying my airplane tickets this coming Friday. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get tickets to the show. I'm definitely going. Nice. I'm pretty excited.
Nice.
I'm gonna miss you.
I hope I can join you. That was a really fun time.
If not, it'll be me and Derek and the Steel Cage guys.
Nice.
Fucking Steel Cage, the great gentleman.
Family.
Yeah.
So, next up on the agenda is all of that fucking wrestling that we watched in preparation for the show.
Oh my gosh!
Try to watch.
I even watched the lucha match that you had. That
the Chris Hero, the one
Hero
that he
suggested.
pimped.
Yeah. Excuse me, Cassius Ohno.
Yes. Don't want to get the wrong name there.
Smarky Dork.
No,
I do more so. I don't want anybody to accuse me of being like, "Hey, there's that guy who uses indie names all the time."
No, I'm the opposite. I get to know an indie guy's name, and it just feels wrong to me to just he's got his WWE name. Like who is gonna call Bryan Danielson Daniel Bryan? Like to me, that's
I would.
really.
If I met him, I wouldn't say Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson. That'd be so weird. Hey, Bryan. This guy gets me. He knows me.
I just like I don't know. I watched him for a long time since like 2001, I think, and then to just like for all of those years to now be like,
you gotta respect his career. Respect his career to see where he is now, and call him by his given name.
Same thing. Like next time I see Jonah, I am not calling him, "Hey Bronson, what's up?" You know,
Bronson fucking Reed, baby. What's
No.
Jonah Rock's not his real name. What do you?
But still, you know someone.
His real last name is Rock.
He was actually working under his shoot name in NXT before they rebranded him. So he went from Jonah Rock to Jermaine Haley to Bronson Reed. Weird.
I like Jermaine.
Jermaine. Yeah, get that love for
Jermaine. Hey, Jermaine.
roll call.
But Bronson Reed's pretty badass, man.
I don't know. I don't want to bury a friend's name,
Buddy's
but
name.
I don't think it suits him. That's just me. I don't know.
But
I hope he has all of the success in the world with it, though.
When Kevin first came to NXT, he sent me a list of the names that they were trying to give him, and they were fucking ridiculous.
Any
one was like
Ned
something. Kevin is Ned.
That is fun.
But yeah, that match that he had us watch was pretty incredible. We had Arez, Latigo or something,
and Dragon Bane, right?
Yeah, and Dragon Bane. And honestly, if you want to see lucha chain wrestling where it takes place the entire match, where it almost seemed like these guys did not have a hand on the other two guys. Like they were literally linked the entire match.
It was amazing. Like, and all of the actual commitment to the three-way match gimmick. Like, I have not seen that much commitment to the three-way dance type of match since, like, probably that fucking match that happened in ECW forever ago between Terry Funk, Shane Douglas, and is it Sabu?
I believe that is correct.
Yeah. Or that much inventiveness with it, because obviously we get a lot of convoluted three-way spots in modern three-way wrestling, but these guys in this lucha match, like, just blew it they hit it out of the park, like, blew it out of the water kind of thing, and I was so impressed. Like you were saying, the chain, and then it just kept ramping up and up and up, and this was a hard crowd as well. They were doing some awesome shit. Wait for do the standoff for the crowd applause. Fucking nothing. This Mexican crowd was like, we will hold our applause and see what you have next, fellas.
Yes, show us something interesting, sir. But no, Cassius Ohno made a very good point. How it wasn't necessarily like the most crisp lucha. Like there were a little bit of fuck ups. It wasn't perfect, but the sheer genius of being able to link this entire match together, and I am no hyperbole when I'm saying, like, literally they were almost linked the entire match. Like there was one guy had a submission on the other guy at the same time with the other one. Some guy comes in, it's fucking bananas, man. And
like the pinning combinations and like multi-man spots that'll go for this pin to that pin to this submission to then that roll up, and so inventive.
Yeah.
But I mean, by the standards of indie lucha, I am normally used to a lot more of a rough ride than this. So when Hero said about the not being perfect, I was like, no, for the standards of independent lucha, this is fucking perfect. I'm normally used to a lot more roughness.
Well, that's yeah. Actually, I heard some comedian was talking about recently how he went on a trip down to Mexico and they did a bunch of crazy shit. But the best part was the lucha show they went to, where the guys a lot of times are swinging and completely missing, and they're still selling, but it's still such a fucking great show that you don't give a damn.
Yeah.
Where like a guy will miss and he'll say, "Oh shit," like audibly.
There's something about lucha.
Great.
There's something about lucha to me where it gets so much more of a pass from me. Where if it was like any other wrestling, I'd just be like, "Oh, fucking boo," But there's something about lucha to where it suspends that a little bit more, you know. You're a little bit more forgiving for I don't even know why. Like the kicks and stuff are always way softer. Stuff like just looks way choreographed, but it's like to a point you're just like that's just lucha libre, dude. You know, you just have to.
It's cool. Like they're dancing. They're doing this long choreographed dance, and it's not going to be perfect every time. When it is, it's great, but it's still fun regardless.
Yeah, exactly. And like it's funny, like the line between the choreographedness of it and like the actual believability of it, because it's weird. It's like there's still like a complete commitment to what they're doing, and the way the crowd buys into it too. But yeah, I love this match, and I think did you see those springboard dives and stuff to the outside that Dragon Bane did? He's going to be the next fucking big time star. Like on the indies and everywhere. More promoters. Everyone needs to get onto this dude.
I dug it, man. And all three guys I had not seen prior, but what a compelling match. Like, you direct me to watch a lot of wrestling, and sometimes I am motivated to actually keep my eyes on it the entire time. And this is one of those times. Like, I was watching like, what the fuck? What the heck? So go out of your way to check this out. Go check out Chris Hero's or Cassius Ohno's tweet.
Yeah, I think this was like from, I can't remember the promotion, but yeah, just check out Hero's timeline.
It was Pro Wrestling Mexico.
Yeah, very creative there with that name.
That's what I know. It was so great, like straight up Spanish speaking. All of a sudden, Pro Wrestling Mexico.
I was wowed in the same way by Dragon Bane as I was like first time I saw Bandito. It's that kind of thing. So, man, get onto that. I hope these guys have a lot of success internationally in the near future. So next up, what else did we watch, friend? You take control of this thing.
I fucking loved this match. Pac and Cara Noir.
From Riptide.
From Riptide Wrestling. First off, I want to put over Riptide presentation. Again, at a company, I'm not sure if they do this all the time. There was no commentary on the match.
Yep, that's been the same every show that I've watched from Riptide.
Awesome.
No commentary, just awesome filming and visual presentation.
The presentation reminded me of the way they shoot Defy, actually. Close-up cams, lots
Similar
of lighting. Yeah, the smoke in the room. So, yeah, very, very cool. It was my very first time seeing Cara Noir, too, even though we spoke about him with Brett.
He won
previously.
me over so big because I had a big expectation for him because of what Brett said and from other stuff that I'd read, but I'd never really watched too much of him. So before I even watched this match, I jumped into some other Cara Noir matches. Like I think I watched 3 Cara Noir matches like in a row, and holy shit, more American promotions need to be bringing this guy over. Like he's a guy that should be in Bola.
Yeah, cool look. One of the most unique presentations you're ever going to see. Kind of does, if you're not familiar, or if you guys are familiar with Black Swan, the
that's his whole
movie
gimmick.
and the play. Yeah, he's got his face painted up like that. He's got swan wings like a cape. Only wears like a black singlet or black tights, no shoes. But fucking A, man, what a gimmick! Like the guy walks in the room and he's like, "This is a star."
Yeah, the overall presence and like he does the. I mean, I don't know if you would call it like an exotico gimmick, but there's like definitely like an element of that side of it to him, and he does like the kiss spot with the dudes in some of his matches and like the licking their face thing, but he backs it up with just fucking amazing, hard hitting, legit wrestling, to where it's like that contrast is what makes the whole gimmick to me, you know.
And he's fucking tough. Like the strikes are fucking stiff as hell. He's like,
that's what I mean.
When you're going against some guy like Pac, dude, like you think a lot of people would back down because they're kind of intimidated because he's a fucking Boston. But no fucking guff taken by this fucking guy. And in the match, they kind of worked whether or not Pac was going to show respect to him and shake his hand. And I love that story throughout the match.
And he just kept going for the handshake.
Such a simple, easy thing. Yeah, such an easy, simple thing, but fucking translated to a great match.
So good. This was interesting as well, because from the other matches that I watched, Cara Noir always was the heel, whereas this was Cara Noir in a babyface role. And yeah, it was quite interesting to see different side of him. But if you haven't seen his other stuff, you really need to check out Badass Heel Cara Noir, because that is its own kind of magic.
I will most definitely. I'm definitely sold me over. I am a fan.
Yeah, there's one match I want to put over to everyone that I probably enjoyed even more than this match. It was a World of Sport rounds, British rounds match between Cara Noir and a dude, Connor Mills, from a promotion called Head Drop. And that was from December of last year. Readily available on the YouTube and on Cara Noir's website. And you need to see this. This was just fantastic.
Send it my way. I will watch anything you tell me so.
But yeah, how good was Park in this match as well?
Oh, fucking great. And it's not like we're not going on a limb on saying how tremendous Pac is, but the spots where Cara Noir was like running his head into the turnbuckles, the way that he was selling the bump was fucking awesome. Like,
I saw you
literally
say
almost
about
jumping halfway across the ring.
You remarked about that on was it Twitter?
I probably yeah.
And I was like, fucking yeah. I cannot remember seeing someone like take a head into the turnbuckle like and just do that with so much effectiveness since like watching a Bret Hart match kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, because it definitely helped get over the size difference between the two guys, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it just made Cara Noir look like a fucking badass.
Yep. Yeah. So good.
A lot of wrestling fans watch it and just enjoy the show, and they're watching this one thing. Sometimes you have to stop and like look at the art and seeing how this other guy's trying to get the other guy over and make him look great. And fuck, Pac is really, really tremendous at that.
Yeah. Pac's like
that
so
superplex.
Yes.
The superplex was so good. His delayed, because he had it planted and ready to go for a while, but then he just gives it like the perfect amount where everyone is just like, fucking give it to us. And he takes him out straight up. And then hard to explain. Like, it's almost picturesque how perfect he nails a fucking superplex.
Well, it's like the Dynamite Kid superplex. Like, that's really like that Dynamite Kid, like Chris Benoit style
You're
superplex.
like planting them.
Yeah. Just with authority. Man, just every little thing that they did. And I want to put over both guys for this because I think both of them, from watching quite a few of, well, not like, I've watched 3 Cara Noir matches, but I've watched a lot of Park. But the biggest thing that I can say of this match and both guys respectively is just that complete commitment to like the littlest thing that they're doing in the ring. Like, it could just be like a small transitional spot, but they're just like giving it their all and completely committing to make that tiniest thing look as fucking good as they possibly can. And to me, that's the mark of a real fucking pro wrestler.
One of the things I always like, it's a small thing that not a lot of guys do it, but when they're gonna run away from a guy into the ropes, the guy's kind of leaned over, like pointed toward him, they will like brush their head one last time before they run toward the ropes, and just kind of level it in one more time before they take off. And not a lot of guys do that, but it's always one of those small details that I really like. When a guy pushes off the ropes, you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Where like they'll just lean back and punch the guy in the head one fucking last time and then take off.
Yeah, so great. There was another Riptide Cara Noir match that I watched that was like one of their best ones of last year, I think, as well, when I was in this Cara Noir watching mode. Him against Mike Bailey was a fucking awesome match. Totally recommend that one too. What's going on with Mike Bailey?
Send it my way, sir.
You know, he was like blowing up in PWG, and then he had the bullshit with the Canadian-American border, right? And then he ends up working in DDT heaps.
Isn't his band over now? I thought his band ended around the time as fucking Super Smash.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know the Super Smash Bros are good now, but fuck, I want to see Mike Bailey back in PWG. I want to see Mike Bailey in All Elite. I want to see him everywhere. Like, he's even better than what he was back in the day when he had that awesome match with Chris Hero that we both loved.
I think isn't he dating Veda Scott?
Is he? I don't know.
I think so.
Perhaps.
Not that it matters, but I mean, if they end up getting, I like when there's a good. Do you mean like in terms? Good wrestlers.
Do you mean in terms of like she's an American citizen, so if they get married, he can then work in the States? Is that the way you're
one
looking
thing,
at
but
this?
I also like the fact that maybe they could team up presentation wise. Mike Bailey with a fucking snotty bitchy female that just makes him more interesting.
Ooh.
Mike Bailey's awesome.
I'd be down with that because
Don't
he's
get me wrong.
such like a lovable,
Yeah.
nice guy. Him being made to do not so good things could be like a reverse Macho Man Liz kind of scenario.
Yeah, or you could do one of those scenarios where he doesn't necessarily know he's a heel because his manager keeps doing all this evil stuff. I like that. I like that shtick.
Yeah, me too. I just want to see more Mike Bailey, please.
Dirty little feet.
Because people at home, he doesn't wear shoes.
PW chip.
He doesn't wear shoes, guys. He wears kick pads with bare feet. So I guess he's got dirty.
That was one of the
little
funniest
feet.
chants happened at PWG. They did, shitty little shoes for Roddy. For Mike Bailey, go dirty little feet.
That stuff just makes me love PWG. That's what it's all about, right there.
Yeah, it's funny when the chants are like 3 layers deep. Like, well, where did this chant start? Well, we originally were saying Roddy's shitty little boots. It's translated.
Yep, that's what we get. All right,
dude, we gotta get out of here soon.
Yeah.
Sendai talk.
Yeah, let's get on to Sendai Girls. I am just going to have a quick wee while Jeremy, you could do the preamble to this Sendai Girls show. I'll be right back. Very professional show here.
I'm not going to preamble. So he's taken off to go urinate. And apparently I'm left here to my own devices and chatting with you all. This will show you how entertaining I can be on my own. I can't. I simply can't. I require input in to riff off of in order for me to be funny. It's like, really, the other person is providing all the humor and I'm just making fun of them. And that's how it gets over. Chris, you have to come back. This is getting dreadful. Let's go back to the old shtick where I read things. So up here on my counter, directly in front of me, in my little studio here, I have a package of sriracha peas. Now, these are similar to the wasabi peas, but they're covered in sriracha. If you haven't tried these little delicious morsels, I suggest you do. The end. Sriracha pea commercial. I think Chris is coming back.
How is our preamble, guys? How do we go?
So Sendai Wrestling, as you know, it's hard to talk about Sendai because literally every show is so fucking great. Things are good. But I have one question for you.
Yes.
This week I watched a lot of it. The comedy girl, what is her name? Because I fucking love her.
So are we talking about
the girl in pink? She wears the bright pink, and they give her a lot of mic time, and everyone's laughing. So clearly, she's hilarious.
Oh yes. So that is. Damn it! Hang on, I'm not on the right event here. I'm searching the card, guys. This is the commitment
it's the same
that I have.
that we talked about last show, where she was facing a zombie girl fighting over some fruit or something of that variety. Well, this time
Is she
they
Kaoru?
were actually paired up.
Kaoru, maybe?
Is that it?
Maybe.
Okay.
I know
Well,
that the ghost lady was Iga.
So yeah, they're teamed up. Igar is teamed up with her and another girl. And
actually, no, I think it's
again,
Sakura Hiroda.
Okay.
Yep.
Sakura Hiroda. I am a
Sakura
fan.
Hiroda, like the flower.
Great.
Like a cherry
The
blossom.
comedy was fucking hysterical. There was some actual legit wrestling interspersed between like the great comedy stuff. But man, that girl entertains me. I need to learn Japanese just so I can know what the fuck she's saying because people really pop up the fucking conversation.
She's having a great time. Like you rarely look at people and be like they're having as great a time wrestling as she is having a great time wrestling. She's just so happy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, she's having a great time. The one spot where they had her like she did the rope walk like old school and then did a little lucha spot where she popped down to the second rope and then jumped back up to the first one. And then she looks at the crowd and kind of like puts herself over like, do you see what I just did? I'm fucking great.
How impressive is this, guys?
It's so good. And then they start walking her toward the ropes where she's like basically gonna fall from the rope. She's almost like vertical with her perpendicular with the mat itself. And then they come over and they put a board under with the pointy edge
That
up.
was so weird.
It's so funny. Like, fall on the board. And everyone's like, no, don't fall on the board. Yeah.
And it
for
was
some
so
reason, that shit
drawn
cracked
out.
me up.
Like while she was standing over it and she was having her arm held by the other girl and was like just looking down at this precarious
Like,
board.
it was going to be the worst thing that could possibly happen.
She just took like a front bump on this board.
Yeah, it was so good. I love when they originally pointed the pointy end up at her. Like, she's like, no.
Yeah, that would slice her in half right there.
Yeah.
Oh, man, yeah. So this show we're talking about occurred on the 7th of this month at Corrigan Hall. So not too long after the prior show we spoke about last time. We had that match. That was the third match on the card that we started out with. But the first match was our semi-awkward, weird young girls match that I guess I'm a little bit more okay watching it now that we're 2 matches in. I don't know. Is the weirdness still there for you, my friend?
What? You cut out for me a second. What weirdness?
So the weirdness of the young girls division. The juniors.
It is slightly worrisome knowing that these are preteen or teenage girls beating the shit at each other, but at the same time, they clearly, to some degree, know what they're doing. So no one's in any great danger, as much as danger as any wrestling moves, I suppose. But
And
I
they're,
didn't
they're
really pay
really
attention to
good,
that match.
as we said last
Yeah.
time. They're better than most like women or majority of guys in terms of fundamentals on the US independent scene right now. And they're like, one is 14-year-old, the other one's 19. The other girls on the other team looked a little bit older. I don't know, but still. The weirdest part about this was, did you see what they referred to this match as in the match graphic?
Mm-mm. Oh, no.
So get ready for this. So this match was termed Fresh Attack. Like that's kind of weird for an underage girls match. It's fresh attack.
It sounds like a laundry detergent.
Yeah, so that was fun. That's all I had to say about that match. Next up we had Alex Lee, who I buried on the last show, against Chikayo Nagashima. I don't remember much about this match.
No, do it.
Alex impressed me much more in this match than she did in the last match. Her kicks looked pretty good. There was some other like weird sloppy shit in there, but overall I thought this was fine. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I started the show. I did not watch it. I started the show. It was the Fresh Attack. I'm like, well, I can only have so much time to watch this. So I jumped forward and I saw that young lady we were talking about a moment ago with the comedy girl. I'm like, well, I'm watching this.
Yep.
And then I stayed watching from after that.
Nice. All right. Well, less said about this, the better. Next. So then we had what I thought was the best match of the entire show. Meiko Satomura against Ryo Mizunami, who was the lady from the Double or Nothing who did the Lady Okada kind of gimmick. You remember her?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And I thought this was just 2 veteran Joshi wrestlers just fucking beating the shit out of one another, and I just thought it was all sorts of wonderful. What did you think?
Big fan. I actually liked it because the longer it got in, you saw a desperate side of Meiko Satomura. Like, she looked like, what the fuck I gotta do to take this bitch out? And I love that shit. She looked like... Some wrestlers look like they're really fighting and have this intensity where it doesn't look like they're playing a character, and Meiko's one of those.
Yeah, like just complete commitment to what they are, to where they just, every moment they're there, complete believability, and I love that. And yeah, we saw a different side of it, because I guess we're normally used to seeing a bit more of Meiko Satomura beating the shit out of girls who were younger than her and murdering them, whereas this was working a peer or an equal in terms of a veteran, which was really good. And I
was a big fan. I love that step up axe kick.
Oh so yeah, that Scorpion Rising kick. Holy shit! Her Death Valley bomb as well is just amazing. Death Valley Driver and Ryo Mizunami had some amazing lariats, like clotheslines, and I was like, this may be the best women's like clothesline I've ever seen in my life. They were just so solid.
Yes.
Just murdering her with them. But yeah, this was great. Post match, we had like a really nice, like kind of emotional moment between the two as well.
I like that kind of stuff because even though I don't speak the language, it translates.
You get the
still,
emotion,
like,
right?
Yeah, you feel the emotion. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was great. Do you have any other thoughts on this match?
What was the other? Rio is her opponent.
Yeah, Rio Mizunami.
Yeah, outside of like Double Death, not crazy familiar with her, but I was fucking impressed.
Yeah, this was like the second time I've ever seen her, honestly. Like after seeing her for the first time on Double or Nothing, and I was very impressed by that Joshi tag on Double or Nothing.
Like definitely, everyone on the fucking Sendai shows I end up liking for the most part, except for like where it's 5-man matches where you don't get a real highlight. But I was very impressed. Especially, I didn't think anybody was going to be fucking knocking Mako around that much.
Yeah, this match was like a sleeper for me because I had such high expectations for the main event and also just the hospital that we're about to talk about that I almost skipped over this match and like forgot who Rio Mizunami was. But then she came out and I'm like, oh yeah, it's the Okada lady. And then, yeah, this just surpassed my expectations in every way. So next up was the aforementioned Lady Hoss battle between Chihiro Hashimoto and quite the controversial women's wrestler, Yoshiko. Do you remember Yoshiko from that controversy she was involved in a little while ago, my friend?
Wasn't she the chick from Stardom that beat the shit out of a couple bitches?
Yep.
Honestly, I got that vibe during the match.
Yeah.
Like this match, I felt like, oh, this bitch is taking liberties.
Yeah, it's like ROH Samoa Joe kind of vibes, like that kind of level of dangerous murder, which I liked a lot. Like Hashimoto as well.
Dresses in coveralls, so she looks like a fucking Jason Voorhees like movie murderer.
Yeah. Man, people were like so hot on her, and they still are. Anytime there's a match of hers tagged, people just get so dirty and just like bury her for when she beat the shit out of that girl. But you ever watched that match?
Like she does, her shit is fucking stiff and realistic looking, but she's not like someone where this person's gonna be a star because her personality is pretty fucking lax. Dog doing the running again.
Oh, hello. I thought she does a great job of conveying that murderer danger type of thing. Like probably one of the better that I've seen do that apart that's not named Aja Kong, you know?
Yeah.
Or Bull
but it's almost to a degree where like I think she might be a real murderer.
Yeah, like, actual legit murderer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great
no,
thing.
that was fucking hard hitting as hell, fucking super. I was impressed that one chick was able to hang.
Yeah, I was impressed mostly by Chihiro Hashimoto, who we've spoke her praises quite a bit before. But in this match, like there was I thought the story of the match, her just fucking out wrestling Yoshiko and just like bitching her out and just like girthing her around and like legit amateur wrestling, like smothering her and stuff. Like I really enjoyed that stuff. And then
she was eating her up.
Yeah.
And then also lots more because she was firing up so much. A lot of more personality from Hashimoto.
Yeah. I felt like we got to see a different side of her as well. So and this was probably like the best Yoshiko match.
Damn it, dog, quit biting me.
He's like, finish this podcast. I need playtime.
Yeah,
you're gonna go to a wrestling show and abandon me.
Hobby is biting the shit. Ow! Fuck! Stop it! I yell at him and he barks back at me.
Talking back. All right, so then we got to our main event, the Sendai Girls World Title match, first defense for our favorite of the show, Sari. I pronounce it like that now with the 3 E's. You know, you have to give it a little bit more emphasis.
Draw it out, man.
Yeah. Against Dash Chisako. Now, do you remember seeing Dash from previous shows?
Yeah, isn't she the one that she faced Mako and Mako like basically put her over during the match, or was that a different chick?
I think it was actually. I'm confused
Maybe
now. I would initially say I thought it was different because Dash Chisako I think is normally Hiroya Matsumoto's tag partner.
Oh yeah, dang it. I have seen her before, but I forget in what context. But
yeah, like she was part of that
she's-
tag against the British girls on the last show that we love so much.
that's it. Yeah,
And then I think
she's a fucking badass.
yeah, man, she's real good. And we
I say
watched
that a lot about these tough broads in Sendai, but the stiff fucking elbows and shit always.
the slaps.
I don't know. Maybe it's because it is more realistic and all the slaps. You're like, just man, these chicks don't give a fuck.
It's great though because it's so fresh. Because like you have a certain perception, and I hate to say it, but like I think people have lowered standards sometimes for women's wrestling, at least for what they're seeing like a big time American presentation. And then you watch this,
Sure.
and you're like, "Fuck that lowered presentation." These girls are like better than most guys, and they're not afraid to hit one another at all.
I honestly I was expecting because Suri the matches we'd seen her with Hashimoto, she was still able to hold her own, chill out, dog. But I was not expecting the other chick to get as much offense.
Yeah.
He is literally pissed. You hear him growling?
He is. He's not taking this shit no more. He's like, wrap this podcast up. Yeah, no, this was a real good match. I think this was actually a rematch of that match that I got you and John to watch on YouTube when we did our last show together, and it was like a much smaller show, and it was just one of their free YouTube shows that they put up. And they had a really underrated match in this one, so I loved that. So I was quite on board for this one, and it went a bit shorter than I thought it was going to go though. I think it only clocked in at like 13 minutes, 12 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, but honestly, like,
but it was fire for while it was there.
Yeah, for a great 13-minute match. I was really what do you say? What's the name of the other girl besides Suri?
Dash Chisako.
Dash.
Yeah, Dash.
Fucking A, man. Cool look too. Like,
yeah,
I like the biker leather and shit.
Yeah. She's just real good. She's another one of the girls that you don't hear enough good things about. And I hope that we have Sari stay around because she, all in addition to, did you see the other belt that she came out with in addition to the Sendai Girls one? That's the Diana Championship, and I am still hunting down that match where she won that Diana belt from Aja Kong. Like that singles match, I need that in my life, and like nothing from Diana comes out. Like I've been scouring the internet for it. I don't know if I'm ever going to see it, man. That's I'm real sad about that. Yeah, it's my new Tom McGee versus Bret Hart match.
Tom McGee versus Sari.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Oh, cross the fingers. But yeah, I hope Sari sticks around. I remember the talk of the picture that Triple H got with her, so she's definitely on that WWE NXT radar. But like you watch her here, and you're like, she's not going to be able to show 1/10 of that in that environment. It's going to be like Kenta all day.
She reminds me of like a mixture of Asuka and Io Shirai. You know what I mean? Like the badass, no guff, but actually, I apologize. Kairi Sane, still cute and adorable, like and sweet and innocent looking, but
But she will fucking kill
bitch.
you.
Yeah, she will fucking knock your jaw.
The one thing that maybe about this match,
dog bites me more.
Yeah, all right, we'll wrap it up. But yeah, I was just gonna say one thing about this match: we didn't get to see dickhead Sari as much as we normally do. She was almost like a bit more of a just baby face, which was a bit different.
Yeah, not slapping anybody around and rubbing it in.
Yeah. So hopefully next time we get a bit more of that dickhead side of her, as we are now just unofficially the Sendai Girls recap show.
We'll have to skip it 1 week so people don't get it. Like, these guys just suck Sendai dick the whole show.
Hey, enough people talk about Stardom and shit. More people need to talk about Sendai Girls. That's where it's at.
Damn right.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here, man. Let's get into the plugs and upcoming events. Wait, no. We don't have upcoming events.
Show. All right, my pugs. You can catch me on Twitter or Instagram at James Vanderbeek, Jaims Vanderbeek. You can get a picture of the obnoxious little puppy that was interrupting the podcast the entire show.
You need to
His
see
name is
this
Bronx,
picture.
and he's cool. He's fucking adorable.
Yep. Every time I see a picture now, I'm stealing Courtney's gimmick and I'm doing the cry face emojis.
Understood.
So you can also follow me at Chris Things, more so at Chris Things on the Instagram. I've been a little bit slack lately because I've had some commissions that are in the works and are almost done. Then I get to move on to the next thing. I also have a very exciting upcoming announcement that I might be able to get into in the next show. But yeah, I'll get some more content up there for you, let you see what I've been doing. And also, if you want anything of your own, please hit me up. Got lots of tasty prints of an obscure wrestling variety just waiting for you. So all that at Chris Things on Instagram. Thanks as always to the great team at Social Suplex, the Social Suplex Podcast Network. You got a bunch of great shows from the All Things Elite podcast, who we've kind of jacked a lot of their shit. Oh well. We've got a new one, Danny's Chop Shop.
We jacked whose shit?
Well, the All Things Elite guys. That's their thing. They talk about Elite, and we talked about Elite as well. We got some doubling up happening, you know.
Well, we talk about the world of wrestling, so if they don't like it, maybe they should stop talking about something so specific and be more general, I guess.
Oh, am I smelling a turf war here?
You know what? Bring it over, motherfucker.
Dang, shit's getting serious here.
It's the devil of it.
We've also got Ricky and Clive. We've got
bring it, Ricky and Clive. Fuck you. No.
Whoa, man! Jeremy's
all
just murdering everyone.
Where you at, Jeremy, Donovan, and Josh? Fuck Strong Style.
Oh. Also, One Nation Radio, and of course our good friends at Keeping It Strong Style, Jeremy and Josh. Yeah.
Only room for one Jeremy up in this place, motherfucker.
Oh, we have fun. And you can enjoy all of this fun. Keep track of the fun at the Twitter handle of @GrownMenPod. Stay tuned for future shows or shows like this where we're going to do a show and then it gets a bit delayed and then we say we're going to do it the next day and then we end up doing it today instead. But
hey, it's the fun world of podcasts. I'm going now from discussing wrestling to go watching more wrestling. It's a sickness. Thanks for coming along with us.
But we all enjoy this sickness together, don't we? And that's what it's all about. That's what this show is about. We're all reveling in the dumbness, aren't we?
Yes, sir. And hey, also don't forget, get swifty, ladies and germs.
Bye. There we
Ow,
go.
Fuck! Jumped up and bit me again. All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Don't you know? Everybody knows that the bird is a winner.